All right. Well, I had just had to do a review on Twister because I've seen this movie 100 million times and I just fucking love it. And it's the type of story that modern cinema just has such a problem conveying, and such a story and depth of character that modern cinema just fucks up left, right, and center. So let's have it. Let's have a Twister review. A twisted Twister review. Well, for the basics, Twister is a 1996 movie directed by Jan de Bont from a screenplay of Michael Crichton. It grossed up 495 million worldwide and generally did pretty good with the critics. But anybody who remembers this movie growing up remembers it was just fucking sensation. And it was so cool to see this kind of lifestyle, and there really is very few have been like it since. Now, Twister has to do with a bunch of storm chasers, actually a few groups of storm chasers. They're going after a tornado outbreak, and it kind of has all the characters are interweaved with tornadoes and such, and storm chasing, and it's very interesting to see their dynamics between each other. Now, Twister actually has a very, very interesting story. It has to do with a bunch of characters that are really, really close-knit, and Bill Paxton, who's absolutely fucking incredible in this movie, kind of has a love interest with Helen Hunt, and he's kind of already has a fiance that he doesn't really love, and it's kind of hilarious when you think about it, because this chick just gets fucking thrown to the third wheel so quickly right early in the movie, and you'll find it fucking awesome just how great Bill Paxton is in this movie. Interestingly enough, in May 24th, 1996, during a showing of the movie Twister in Ontario, there was actually a tornado that ripped through a drive-in theater that Twister was playing. Now, if you remember from Twister, there's actually a scene when The Shining is playing, and an F4 tornado rips through the studio and the drive-in theater in an absolutely fucking incredible scene. Now, the special effects of Twister are also really, really, really cool. And even today, although they look a little bit dated, and you can kind of look past it, because when you were younger, that looked so incredible seeing the special effects. But yeah, basically, Twister just has some really, really cool effects, and even to this day, it's extremely interesting just to kind of see the level they were willing to go with all this. Well, Twister has such a legacy that, believe it or not, it's even referenced in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the Dragonborn DLC. Bill's drunken encounters referenced. That just shows how far-reaching this movie and this story is gone in pop culture. It's quite awesome, really. Now, as for a sequel, because Twister is such an epic movie, and there was just bound to be a sequel, I think it's the type of movie that movie executives have a hard time recommending, because it's a real unknown kind of how it's going to perform. There was never really anything like this movie, and there's really nothing ever made like it since. And it just captures, although there are modern storm chasers, and it is a thing, it really hasn't been captured in this heroic of an epic way. And it's super, super cool, the storyline and how it matches real tornadoes. They're a real fucking thing and can really fucking destroy shit. So it has lends to the epic tale of this movie, that this is a real phenomenon and this actually happens, and that although there's special effects used in the movie, shit like this really happens, and you'd be hard pressed to find someone brave enough to track down a tornado, although there are a few that do choose this incredibly dangerous trade. Now, one of the things that you really, really, really like about Twister is it's a really good feel-good story. There's just something about the movie. Every scene is just triumphant, and there's conflict, but it's all about, you know, doing what's right and being a good person generally in the face of so much destruction and uncertainty. Now, if they're going to make a sequel, Helen Hunt did officially pitch the idea of a sequel to make, you know, kind of a modern 2020 version of the film. Even set to have a multicultural or multiracial and multicultural cast of storm chasers. So they're thinking of bringing it to the modern sphere, and I think they could do it. I think Helen Hunt is onto something. She's a great actor, and she's really, really smart with these kinds of things. I think it could work, and I think that's something they could really do, as long as they don't try and woke-a-fucking-fy it too much. It'll be a good movie. I really think that they could nail a Twister sequel, because the original is just such a timeless fucking classic. And if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it immediately. It's pretty easy to come across nowadays, and it just really, even in the modern era, Twister is an amazing movie, and I fucking love it, and I recommend it 150%.